Hi there. Today we're going to look at it's based on standard 7.RP, which is ratios and proportions 3. We'll be calculating, basically using proportions to calculate percent problems. Okay? This is not your first time around with percent. You should know by now that percent, the symbol means percent, meaning per 100, meaning however many things per 100. Okay, and I really want for you to know how to calculate percents mentally quite well before we just get into a bunch of mindless different percent problems where you're just calculating and maybe using a calculator and whatnot. Okay, so now I really believe that you finding out mental math percents is going to help you. All right, so I thought I'd show you a couple tricks to finding percents without doing hardly any written out math. A lot of this can just be done in your brain using mental math, okay? So we'll be finding percents of numbers. Don't forget that 100% of something means all of it. And obviously 0% means nothing or none. Okay? So we'll be finding percents within that range and even maybe more, like 120%, more than all. Okay, but for now, just want you to focus on a few percents, and those key few mental percents can help you find answers to all kinds of percent problems, and it will help you, one, be faster, two, be able to check your work quicker, and might even save you time. Okay, so we're going to work with finding 1% of something. Don't forget, finding 1% means, well, 1 out of 100, right? So I don't know, let's start with 60. I thought I would find 1% of several numbers, and you're going to tell me when I'm done what the shortcut is. What is it that I'm doing? Okay? So to find 1% of, let's go with the number 60. 1% of the number 60 is 6/10. Okay? Let's go with 80. Find 1% of 80. Well, 1% of 80 is... I thought we'd go with a larger number now. Let's go with number 850. Find 1% of 850. It is... Okay. So maybe you notice the pattern. Maybe you notice what I'm doing. 1% of this number... Okay, check against what you think I'm doing. See if you're accurate. All right. I don't know. Let's go with 1% of 30. Well, again, guess what? It's going to be a small value. There we go. Let's go with 1% of, 3,500. 1% is 35. Go with 1% of, I already did 80. Let's go with 1% of 45. It's going to be this. 1% of 6. It's going to be this. 1% of 90. It's going to be this. All right, so what is it? What am I doing? What's the shortcut? How do I find 1% of something without really multiplying and doing a lot of work? Okay, what is it? I'll pause. Very good. So you decided that you saw what had happened. 1% of something is 1/100th. So a shortcut is to take the number and divide by a 100. And the shortcut to divide by 100 is for you to move the decimal. Very good. You guys found out. Twice left. On any value. 1, 2, and I'll get you 1%. 1%. Why? Because it's 1/100. So if you divide by 100, and you'll find out what that answer is. So to find 1% of any value, let's go with 750. 1% of it. The answer would be, move the decimal. There you have it. So 7.5 is 1% of 750. Okay? Oh, good for you. Good job guessing that. So I wanted you to see 2 hallmark percents, and then why. Why is that going to help you? How would that help you? Okay? That's how you would find 1% of something. And people, you know what? To be honest with you, the reason, I'm showing you this also, the reason I'm showing you this is because this relationship's proportional. We can use these numbers to help us find other percents. Okay? So let's go with this one. Let's go with 10% of something. Do not forget that 10% is 10 out of 100. Okay? Which really reduces down to 1/10. Okay? So let's go ahead and do this. You tell me. I'm going to show you 10% of several different values, and I want you to tell me what it is that I am doing. Okay? So I don't know. Let's go with 60. 10% of 60 is 6. Let's go with 450. 450. 10% of 450 is 45. 10% of 80, 8. 10% of 48 is going to be, don't say it out loud, don't type it in chat yet. Good, so I'm mentally finding percents rather quickly. 10% of 555, it is, there you go. 10% of 95 is going to be 10% of 400 and... Now let's go with 840. 10% of 840. All right. So what is it? What am I doing? How am I going from this value to that value? What's the unknown there? It's like, what's the constant actually? And that's truly why this will work for you really well too. Is it is proportional. So you tell me. How am I getting the answer mentally, real fast? Very good. So you decided, hey, it's 1/10. That means you take the value and you find out you divide it by 10 to get 10%. Very good. And that's what we're doing. And the shortcut to divide by 10 is to move the decimal once left. Okay? Because that's a shortcut for dividing by 10. You guys should know that. All right? Well, the reason I want you guys to be able to do this rather quickly is, and I'm going to use 60 as a quick, just a very quick example. Okay? The number 60. Just watch this. 1% of that is what we just did. 1% of it is 0.6. 10% of it is 6. Now you can take these percents and change them to what you need. They are, to be honest with you, these percents are proportional. So if 10% of 60 is 6, then 20% is 12. And 30% is 18. And 40% is... See, so it's proportional. So why would I want you to be able to do this? If I ask you for 30% of 60, well, you could find 10% and triple it. Right? So 30% of 60 is 18. Well, look, right? Percents are proportional. So if you can find one set of the percents, let's say find 10%, then you can easily double it to get 20%, or take that and triple it to get 18%, or take that and quadruple it to find out what 40% is. Okay, so this works. This works for 10%, works for 1%. We call these our hallmark percents, or at least I do. Okay? So you can use this very fact to find the percents of numbers. Okay? For example, let's say, I don't know, let's say I want you to find like it's hiding, right? Find 25% of 400. Well, that shouldn't cause you a whole lot of grief. 10% is 40. So what's 20%? 80. Now, we have 20%. We only need 5 more percent. So guess what? Well, we can take this and cut it in half. So if 10% is 40, 5%, which is half of that, would be 20. So if I were to ask you to find 25% of 40, you could just combine the 20% with the 5%. So it's going to be 100. Okay? It's one way to do this, and it helps you get more familiar with percents, and it helps you be quicker at calculating, helps you maybe to be quick also with your checking your answers. Let's say I were to ask you to find 15% of 80, okay? Well, what could you do? Well, you could find 5% and then 10% and put it together. You can do that. I'm going to start with 10%. I usually start always with either 1% or 10%. So 10% of 80 is 8. So half of that is 4. So if I put the 8 and the 4 together, I get 12. 12 is 15% of 80. Okay? Probably something you knew, you just haven't used for a while. Okay? I don't know, let's say I were going to ask you to find, let's go with 40% of 70. Why not? All right, let's go ahead and do that. You could start by quickly finding 10. So it's 7. And just take that and multiply the whole thing by 4. Because that would give you 40% is 28. Okay? So really in the beginning here, I just want you to get familiar with percents, get used to the percents, okay, by using this technique with mental math. You're using proportionality, you're using mental math, you're using shortcuts, all kinds of things here. Let's say I were to ask you to find 12% of, let's go with 60 again. We'll use 60. Okay? Well, 12%, that could be 10 and 1 and 1. And I think that's how I would find it. So I would start by finding 10%. And again, I'm writing this out, but this will become a process in your mind. So you don't have to think about it. You don't have to write it out. I mean, you're thinking about it, but you're not having to sit there and write and calculate. So 10% of this is 6. So 1% of this is 0.6. So I need to put all of these together. 6 plus 0.6.6, it's 1.2. So altogether it's 7.2. Because I took all these and added them. Right? So these are 1.2 plus 6, 7.2. Okay? So, I mean, to be honest with you, it shouldn't take you very long to do that. All right? That's the whole idea of calculating using mental math. I think it gets you familiar with your percents. It'll help you become faster, also more accurate. Carlos lost 20% of his savings. Okay? Let's say he had $700. Do it mentally. Give me an answer here. Okay? Respond. Good. Very good. So you found out that 10% is 70, so you doubled that, and you got 140. It's a good way to do that. Okay? Found 10% quickly. Multiplied it by 2. Let's say I'm going to ask you to find... Let's go with 35% of 80, okay? Well, 35, there's a lot of ways you could do that, but I'm going to go with 10, 10, 10, and 5. So I'm going to find 10%, which is going to be 8. Then half of that would be 4, right? So I want to find 35%. So I'm going to triple this, right? Because times 3 will get me 30%. So it's 24 plus the 5%. It's 28. Okay? Very good. Let's go with another one. Let's go with find Let's go with find 15% of 300. Go ahead and do that. Very good. Find 10%, then find 5%. Well, 10% of this would be 30. And then to find 5%, you just cut that in half. So it's going to be 15, right? So 15% of 300 is these put together, which is 45. Very good. Let's go another one. Let's go with find 12% of what? 500? Go ahead. Very good. First of all, maybe you'd find 10%, and that's going to be 50. Then you'd find 1%, which is 5. And then to come up with 12%, you're going to use the 10 and 2 of these. So that's 50, right? Plus 5 plus 5. It's going to be 60. 12% of 500 is 60. And that makes sense. Okay? Very good. We can do a few other practice problems right after this. I'm going to go to a blank page and work some of these out with you. Okay?